A Million Little Things, a new drama, tonight, 10/9 Central on ABC.
Tonight, just hours from what will be an historic public hearing in front of the American people. And tonight, what the president just said about his nominee. We had not heard this before. Judge Brett Kavanaugh and his accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, set to answer questions in front of the country. President Trump just moments ago unleashing. When asked about the women and their allegations, he said these are all false to me. What they've done to this man is incredible. But when pressed, what he said about the possibility of pulling this nomination, saying it is possible I'll hear something and I'll change my mind. Also tonight, what Brett Kavanaugh will reportedly tell the country about drinking and about assault. And Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, what she plans to say, what she accuses him of, her opening statement just released tonight. And the major new development, a third accuser now revealed, describing herself as a government worker with multiple security clearances, what she alleges years ago at a party. In other news tonight, we now hear from the father as authorities hunt for the little boy with autism. His father describing the moment the boy got away. We are also watching severe storms tonight, major travel worries coming from D.C. to Philly, New York up to Boston.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on this Wednesday night, and it has been a remarkable day. Here in Washington, we were outside that hearing room today where they are now preparing for Brett Kavanaugh and his accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, to answer questions in front of the American people. That begins tomorrow morning. But it was just moments ago we heard the president lash out at the accusers, their allegations, and the Democrats, who he says are behind this. But he also acknowledged for the first time that he could hear something tomorrow that could change his mind. Could he pull this nomination? What he said. Tonight, we have now learned what Judge Brett Kavanaugh will say when he begins tomorrow about drinking when he was young. We have also just learned what Dr. Christine Blasey Ford will say, what she will accuse him of with millions watching. And right there, for the first time, you're seeing Dr. Ford taking that polygraph test. Tonight, we'll see the results of that report as well. And look at this tonight, the note just placed on that table in the hearing room by the Republican chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee in his own writing, telling the accuser, good luck, Dr. Ford. We have it all covered tonight, beginning with the president moments ago standing firm on Kavanaugh, but also appearing to give himself the option to pick someone else. ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega leading us off.
With his Supreme Court nominee in peril, tonight ABC's Jonathan Karl asked President Trump about Brett Kavanaugh's three accusers.
Mr. President, there are now 3 women accusing Judge Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct. Are you saying that all 3 of those women are liars? Is there anything that could be said at this hearing tomorrow that could cause you to withdraw the nomination? Anything at all that...
I won't get into that game. I only tell you this. This is one of the highest quality people that I've ever met. And everybody that knows him says the same thing. And these are all false to me. These are false accusations in certain cases.
But, Mr. President, if I could follow up, you have daughters. Can you understand why a victim of sexual assault would not report it at the time? Don't you understand?
By the way, I only say this. 36 years, no charge, no nothing.
But that happens often. I mean,
people are going to have to make a decision. 36 years, there's no charge. All of a sudden, the hearings are over, and the rumors start coming out. The senators are very capable people. They're very good people. I know many of them. They're friends of mine. These are very talented, very good people. And they're going to vote. They're going to have to believe what they believe.
Still, the president says he will be watching when Christine Blasey Ford tells her story to Congress tomorrow. And he now says he's keeping an open mind.
Do you think these women, all 3 of them, are liars? Yes or no?
Have they been what?
Are they liars?
I can't tell you. I have to watch tomorrow. I have to read. I'm going to see what happens tomorrow. I'm going to be watching. You know, believe it or not, I'm going to see what's said. So it's possible that they will be convincing. I can always be convinced. I have to hear it.
It sounds like what you're saying is there is a situation, there is a scenario under which you would withdraw Brett Kavanaugh's nomination. Is that correct?
If I thought he was guilty of something like this, yeah, sure.
And the president says even if he replaces Kavanaugh with a woman, she could face accusations too.
I could pick, as an example, hopefully I won't have to do it as a replacement, because hopefully this is going to go very well on Thursday. It's going to go very well on Monday or Saturday or Sunday or whenever they vote. But I could pick a woman, and she could have charges made from many years ago also.
More than a dozen women have accused the president himself of sexual misconduct. He's denied it all. But today, he said his own experience influences how he sees the current situation.
It does impact my opinion. You know why? Because I've had a lot of false charges made against me. I'm a very famous person, unfortunately. I've been a famous person for a long time. But I've had a lot of false charges made against me, really false charges. I know friends that have had false charges. People want fame, they want money, they want whatever. So when I see it, I view it differently than somebody sitting home watching television where they say, oh, Judge Kavanaugh, this or that. It's happened to me many times.
And Cecilia Vega joins us live tonight from Manhattan. And Cecilia, I know you were in that room for the president's news conference. The president was also asked what message he's sending to young men across this country by defending Judge Kavanaugh so strongly, even before he hears from Dr. Ford.
David, this is the message to young men President Trump is sending, quote, when you are guilty until proven innocent, it's not supposed to be that way. He just called this a dangerous period in our country, a powerful cultural moment. I've got to tell you, David, this was an astounding moment in covering this presidency. More than an hour and 20 minutes of freewheeling press conferences, more than a dozen different topics covered. This was supposed to be President Trump making his case for his nominee ahead of tomorrow's hearing. David, the question tonight, did he help or did he hurt him?
Cecilia Vega, live in New York City tonight. Cecilia, thank you. And as we said tonight, we have new reporting here, what Brett Kavanaugh will say tomorrow morning and what Dr. Christine Blasey Ford will accuse him of, with the country watching. And tonight, the other major development, that third accuser now coming forward with a sworn statement. What she alleges happened at a party that she says Kavanaugh was at. Tonight, right here, Kavanaugh's response. And as you saw at the top this evening, we are now seeing for the first time images from Dr. Ford's polygraph test and the results. ABC's Terry Moran, who has covered the Supreme Court for years, on this again tonight.
The alarming new allegations against Judge Brett Kavanaugh accuse him of sexual misconduct and heavy drinking while in high school. His accuser, Julie Swetnick, 55 years old, who says she's worked on and off for the federal government for years and held security clearances from the Homeland Security, State, and Treasury Departments, among others. In a sworn affidavit, Swetnick claims she met Brett Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge around 1980 and attended well over 10 house parties where they were present. She says she saw Kavanaugh drink excessively at many of these parties and engage in abusive and physically aggressive behavior toward girls. And she claims she witnessed efforts by Mark Judge, Brett Kavanaugh, and others to cause girls to become inebriated and disoriented so they could then be gang raped in a side room or bedroom by a train of numerous boys. And she alleges that Kavanaugh was present at a house party in 1982 when Swetnick says she herself was a victim of a gang rape. ABC News has been unable to corroborate Swetnick's allegations. Her lawyer, Michael Avenatti, who also represents porn star Stormy Daniels in her legal battles with President Trump, defended Swetnick on The View.
I mean, the details in this declaration are specific, they are shocking, but above all else, they are true.
Judge Kavanaugh quickly released a statement. This is ridiculous and from the Twilight Zone. I don't know who this is, and this never happened. Mark Judge, the other person named by Swetnick, also released a statement through his lawyer. Mr. Judge vehemently denies Ms. Swetnick's allegations. Swetnick's nightmarish portrayal of Kavanaugh as a teenager is simply irreconcilable with how he described his younger self to Fox News.
When I was in high school, and I went to an all-boys Catholic high school, a Jesuit high school, where I was focused on academics and athletics, going to church every Sunday at Little Flower, working on my service projects and friendship.
Kavanaugh and his high school friend Mark Judge are also at the center of the allegation involving Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, who claims that Kavanaugh assaulted her at a high school party while Judge egged him on. Kavanaugh and Blasey Ford are set to testify tomorrow. Her lawyers today are releasing her handwritten account as part of a lie detector test she took and passed. Ford writes, Brett laid on top of me and tried to remove my clothes while groping me. He held me down and put his hand on my mouth to stop me from screaming for help. She writes, Mark jumped on top of us 2 or 3 times before she escaped. And her lawyers submitting 4 affidavits from people whom Blasey Ford told about the alleged assault years ago, including her husband, who says she first shared it with him in 2002, right after they were married, and then again a decade later. I remember her saying the attacker's name was Brett Kavanaugh, he says. Kavanaugh submitting his own supporting evidence to the Judiciary Committee, including a remarkably detailed calendar he kept as a teen, an effort to show he wasn't the wild animal he's been portrayed as, but a busy kid with big dreams. Like these entries, noting college interviews for Brown and Yale, as well as a reminder to go to judges. And in his opening statement to the committee tomorrow, released today, Kavanaugh will declare, "There has been a frenzy to come up with something, anything, no matter how far-fetched or odious, that will block a vote on my nomination. These are last-minute smears, pure and simple." He acknowledges, "I drank beer on weekends with my friends. Sometimes I had too many. In retrospect, I said and did things in high school that make me cringe now." But he remains adamant. "I have never sexually assaulted anyone, not in high school, not in college, not ever."
There are a lot of fast-moving developments on this tonight. Let's get right to Terry Moran. He's live at the Supreme Court for us. And Terry, you've just obtained a copy of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's opening statement to the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow morning.
That's right, David. It is a detailed, even moving account of what she says was Brett Kavanaugh's attack on her. She paints a picture, takes you inside that room, recalls she was wearing a one-piece bathing suit which might have protected her, and she says, "Brett's assault on me drastically altered my life. For a very long time, I was too afraid and ashamed to tell anyone." David?
Terry Moran back at the Supreme Court for us tonight. Terry, thank you. And tonight there's someone else that the American people will get to know and quickly tomorrow, the woman who will ask the questions for the Republican senators. All 11 of them are men. They have hired a female prosecutor, a veteran sex crimes prosecutor from Arizona, to question both Dr. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh in their place. Her name is Rachel Mitchell. Dr. Ford had wanted those Republican men to ask her the questions themselves, but tonight it will be someone else, that veteran female prosecutor, who the Republican Majority Leader Mitch McConnell described as their, quote, female assistant who will do the questioning. ABC's Mary Bruce back up on the Hill tonight.
With just hours until the high-stakes hearing tonight, Judge Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Blasey Ford are preparing to be grilled by 10 Democratic senators and this woman, veteran sex crimes prosecutor Rachel Martin from Arizona, hired by the Republicans on the committee, all of whom are men, to lead their questioning, an extremely rare move.
I'm not interested in seeing Ms. Mitchell go Catwoman on anybody. I want her to we hired her because she has an extraordinary reputation for being able to ferret out the truth in allegations of sexual assault.
Despite the new allegations against Kavanaugh, the committee is plowing ahead with tomorrow's hearing. But with those new allegations, all of the Democrats on the committee are now demanding the president withdraw Kavanaugh's nomination.
This allegation is a game changer because it's under oath and it names corroborating witnesses. The specificity here is absolutely gut-punching.
But Republican Lindsey Graham is suspicious.
But this is getting into the twilight zone. You're talking about Brett Kavanaugh being a serial rapist during high school as a sophomore in high school.
How can you be so certain if you haven't heard from her yet, from this new accuser?
I am telling you that affidavit, if it doesn't jump out at you as being strange, I find everything about Judge Kavanaugh to indicate that he's not that kind of person.
Republicans like Orrin Hatch have been rallying around Kavanaugh.
I don't think there's any question in my mind about it, but I'm willing to keep an open mind.
On the Senate floor today, Republican Jeff Flake, one of the key swing votes, exasperated.
There was an earlier case 27 years ago from which you might have thought we would have learned something. But the past couple of weeks makes it clear that we haven't learned much at all.
And Mary Bruce joins us live from Capitol Hill tonight. And Mary, we were up outside that hearing room today. There was a security presence, but this room is smaller than the one initially we had heard about. And you're getting new details about how the day will unfold first thing in the morning.
Well, David, we know that Ford will testify first, followed separately by Kavanaugh. They both will deliver their opening statements and then field a total of an hour and 45 minutes of questions each, going back and forth between the Democratic senators and the Republicans' new attorney. And we've just learned that that attorney, Rachel Mitchell, was here on the Hill today meeting with those Republicans. David?
Mary Bruce up on Capitol Hill tonight. Mary, I will see you up on the Hill first thing in the morning for the hearing, and we hope all of you at home will stay with ABC News for live coverage of the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing. Mary and I will be joining George and our entire team tomorrow beginning at 10 a.m. right here on ABC. We have a lot of other news to get to.